Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Valve released an update literally just a couple of days ago, and they're already patching the game again to fix a couple of things that just became absurdly overpowered because of that update, as well as some other things in the previous item shop rework. So I'm going to be covering that here for you today. They also did a couple of changes to the map, so we're going to take a look at those too. Real quick though, if you guys have been enjoying the coverage of the updates, as well as all the builds and stuff that I've been making on the channel, make sure you're subscribed. It helps the channel a ton, and it helps you stay up to date on all the latest videos and updates, such as this one. So let's talk about the update now. Up first, we do have a couple of changes to the map design. Again, mostly referring to the base here, and you can actually already see some of the changes. They've tweaked the cover here in the sort of throne room area. So now there's fewer places where these like little nubs stick up. We have a little bit more cover down here in this area, which this part just felt really weird. There was like a really tall wall here, and then it was just like a trench, and it felt really awkward to fight around. So hopefully this will feel a little bit better. We'll just have to see as we continue to play with the patch. They have also added statues in front of the mid lane entrances for a bit of cover, so we can take a look at this. We got two gargoyle statues here, so now this area isn't as open and exposed. This was a really deadly place to fight, especially pushing up into the enemies, into the base, trying to siege this. Without any cover here, this was a nightmare, because they could sit up here and shoot you. They could easily ambush you with a lash ult, so hopefully this will be a little bit better to fight around. They also did some stuff to the shrines. They moved the shrines a little bit farther away from the back walls and extended the shrine low ground closer to the throne. So we have these stairs here now. Shrines are a little bit farther pushed up, so it's a bit easier to hit these. These cubbies have just caused some trouble, I guess. So hopefully these shrines will feel a little bit better. And yeah, lastly, just a couple of small changes. They removed a tree in front of the mid lane entrance, and they also tweaked trooper nodes to go around the new statues here. So just some minor tweaks regarding these statues. So now let's take a look at the actual balance changes. This is where things get really interesting. So first of all, they have fixed breakables. These... Oh, wow, I just got horribly unlucky there. These breakables, obviously, as you guys know, drop souls. And ever since the item shop rework, they have actually been just counted as regular souls and not unsecured souls. But that is no longer. If we pick these up, you'll see that they are now unsecured souls again. So that means box farming just got a major nerf. You can pick up a bunch of boxes, but you're going to have to wait a while to secure all those souls. And if you die with a bunch of these box souls on you, you're going to drop them for the enemies to pick up. So that is the first change. Pretty big change already. And they also, as just a quality of life thing, added a breakable soul category to the post-match graphs. Previously, they were lumped in with the urn. So now you get to see the souls you get from the spirit urn versus the souls you get from these breakables. So that's a nice little quality of life thing. They've also adjusted troopers. So recently they made it so that troopers get resistances in the base, 50% damage reduction just through and through. They've nerfed that down to 40% to make the troopers a little bit easier to deal with. And they also made it so that troopers will now only flinch from player damage if it's a headshot while the trooper is busy running. The tiniest of changes. Lastly, when it comes to general changes, this is a pretty big change overall. Melee damage growth per boon has been reduced by 5%. So as you level up, you get more melee damage, and that's just been completely reduced by 5% for every character in the game. Obviously, that hurts melee across the board, but it will also really hurt those characters who like to punch a lot, like Abrams, Viscus, Yamato, characters like that. So that is very, very huge, and that's on top of all the melee item nerfs that we've received over the past couple of days. So now let's talk about the actual item nerfs. There's a lot of these here, and I guess let's just start with one of the most impactful ones. Express Shot has gotten a pretty big change. So this item now actually just got a lot worse on the characters that really loved using this item previously. So if you didn't know, this is a new item that they added with the new item store rework. It allows you to fire a second bullet twice in quick succession with increased damage and velocity after not attacking for 4 seconds. And recently they nerfed it from 150% bonus damage down to 125% bonus weapon damage, but they've gone back on that nerf. It's back up to 150% damage at the cost of alt fire weapon damage is only boosted by 75%. The bonus is cut in half. And this applies to alt fires, basically. So think Viscus's alt fire, the big glob of goo, Yamato's alt fire, the explosion, Shiv's double shotgun alt fire, and also Paradox's kinetic carbine. This really hurts my one-shot build that people were enjoying. So yeah, that is a very big nerf. Next, let's talk about Headshot Booster and Headhunter, both of which are very powerful items, and they both have been nerfed again. So the just base 800 credit Headshot Booster here has had its bonus health reduced from 65 down to 40, so it provides you much less of a benefit in the early game when it comes to your health. Headhunter, however, has received the bulk of the changes. So first of all, the heal has been reduced from 6% down to 4%, but it now scales with Spirit Power by 0.01 to 4, which is not a lot of scaling, but yeah, hopefully, eventually, if you get enough Spirit Power, this healing will be much better. And the same has been done to the Headshot bonus damage. It went from 120 down to 100, but it now scales with Spirit Power at a rate of 0.3. So this all of a sudden is now more of a hybrid item, where the healing and headshot bonus damage are a fraction of what they were at the start of the item shop rework. But if you actually do scale some spirit power with your character, you might be able to get this back up to pretty reasonable levels. Still probably going to be a powerful item, because 4% heal per headshot every 8 seconds is really nice and scales really well into the late game. But yeah, definitely another big nerf here to Headhunter. They're really just hitting like the super meta items right now. Next up, Cultist Sacrifice has also been nerfed. This got super buffed in the previous update because they made it so that the buff no longer expires when you die. And so they're hitting it even harder here with some nerfs. They have reduced the bonus health from 275 down to 250, and they also reduced the duration from 170 seconds down to 160 seconds. So if we actually stack this with superior cooldown, let's actually see how that interacts. So I grab this, and now with the item we're looking at 192 second cooldown with 160 second duration, so we would have about 32 seconds of downtime. And then if I go ahead and grab superior duration here, do we still get 100% uptime? We do. So yeah, that is definitely a big change, but this will probably still be a pretty good item, especially if you're already building for both cooldown and duration, or even just cooldown. Still, only 30 seconds of downtime isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. Speaking of superior cooldown, just as a quick aside, they did nerf the cooldown reduction by 1%, from 27 down to 26. Not the end of the world, still going to be a phenomenal item, but just a slight boost down in terms of the power. For Spirit Rend, they just did a small thing where they fixed being able to get 2 stacks on a without using the cooldown. So yeah, just kind of a small fix there, but it does technically mean the item is worse. Frenzy, they have nerfed. This got super buffed because they changed the resistances from bullet resist to spirit resist. So it went from 40% bullet resist to 40% spirit resist, and spirit resist is valued a lot more. They have nerfed this now to 30% spirit resist. Still a lot better than it was before, I would say, but definitely a big nerf there. Now let's talk about Siphon Bullets. This is another item that's kind of getting an emergency nerf. They super buffed this in the last patch, in my opinion, for no reason. I already thought this was a pretty good item on the characters who wanted to buy it, like of course Mirage. And they just decided to buff the cooldown and switch it to have more spirit resist. Previously it had bullet resist. Instead they switched it to spirit resist and buffed the the value of the spirit resist. So they have nerfed the spirit resist. It's back down to 10%. And they also fixed the cooldown of being consumed and blocked by plated armor, but more importantly, they reduced the max HP that you steal per bullet from 65 down to 55. So it still has the lower cooldown, but now you're stealing less HP per bullet, so it's kind of been balanced out. It's more frequent health steal, but less bursty health steal, is what they've done here with Siphon Bullets. Still probably going to be a ridiculously powerful item. Next up, we have Decay, and this is getting another slew of nerfs. They keep nerfing it, but it just continues to be a powerful item. Let me go ahead and sell my cooldown and duration here, just to not skew the results here. So Decay now has worse range spirit scaling, from 0.13 down to 0.1. The damage has been reduced by another 0.1, from 2.5% down to 2.4%. Of course, you can still scale that back up with spirit, but they have also reduced the damage spirit scaling from 0.00465 to 0.0038. I know that sounds small, but when we're talking about a percent-based buff here, that's a big deal. And you can see that even just the spirit power that Decay would give us gets us already up to, what is this, 2.49% per second of bleed damage, up from, yeah, 2.4%. So just that spirit power alone from investment and plus 8 gets us an extra freaking 0.9%, which that can really add up, especially with late game health pools. And if we grab, like, Boundless Spirit on top of that, 2.73%, yeah, that's still pretty huge. So yeah, definitely a more impactful nerf than you might originally anticipate. They also drastically nerfed the cooldown from 30 seconds up to 36 seconds. That is a pretty big deal. And finally, they did give it one small buff. They buffed the healing reduction from minus 35% to minus 40%. So this is now more potent than Healbane when it comes to actually reducing their healing. So that is the one, like, good thing for Decay here. And, yeah, against a character like Abrams, this honestly is still a pretty good item. It's crazy how strong it is, man. And, yeah, that is the final item that we have to talk about here. So, kind of an emergency patch to address some of the things that have just been busted over the last few days. Addressing Express Shot, taking a look at Headhunter, which has been a really powerful item for a while now. Nerfing Cultist Sacrifice, nerfing Frenzy, really hitting Siphon Bullets after they buffed it inexplicably, in my opinion. I still don't really know why they did that. Nerfing Decay again, and also, importantly, fixing these breakables, because breakable farming has been really strong, box farming has been really good, since they just go into your soul wallet without being unsecured first. So, yeah, that is also pretty big. Definitely don't want to overlook that change. And we got some better map changes as well. I do like the new layout of the base. So yeah, that's it for the patch. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video if you found my coverage to be helpful. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.